What's going on, guys? MK Tom Brady here. In this video, I want to do a crouching slide tutorial. Some people may say, why the hell does one need a tutorial for a slide? It's because, believe it or not, crouching slide is not the same as the slide. They actually kind of act as two separate moves, and I want to go into detail on that. I did something like this the very first 2 days of the game, but I didn't explain it very well, didn't go into detail. I took it down right away. I always meant to re-record it with more detail as a tutorial. Never did that. I saw Deoxys on Twitter tweeting about it recently, so I figured, well, now is pretty much as good a time as any to do it, so we're doing it. So I've been doing this for about a decade. However, games like Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11 now, the third installment of Mortal Kombat in the NRS, under the NRS umbrella, has given us a lot more advances than we've had a decade ago in how we use our tools. For example, 10 years ago when I was doing this, it was only usable against 2 characters, so it was pretty much worthless outside of 1 or 2 isolated situations. See, back then, if you were to do a slide, while crouching a high projectile allows it to pass over my head, sliding from crouch would raise my profile slightly, allowing a high projectile to hit me. This, pretty much outside of 2 characters who I could do this against, made this technique completely useless. In MKX and MK11, they now allow this attack to retain its low profiling properties, and it can now go under highs consistently. So what does this mean? Well, I have Liu Kang here. I know he has a little fireball. We'll tackle that momentarily. Liu Kang has a high fireball single, a high fireball triple. In Mortal Kombat 11, if you wish to punish these projectiles, you must crouch them, stand, and punish them. However, if you do this, and he does 3 fireballs, you're going to get hit in the face. If you say, okay, he's going to do 3, I'll duck those and punish. He only does 1, he blocks. By the time you realize only 1 has come out, you're going to be late on your punish. So it's pretty much a read. Enter Sub-Zero here. The reason why you slide from crouch as opposed to from stand is because it just gives you more time to react. See, you're trying to go under a high projectile. Problem is, you need to be putting yourself into crouch in order to do so. If you slide from standing, there are transition frames to go from here to here. And you want to be able to react. You don't want to be baited. So you don't want the player to be able to whiff a standing jab and you're reacting to movement. You want to react to the projectile and the projectile alone. Well, if you're not in a crouching state and you have to get in a crouching state, that requires you to react faster because you have to get through those standing frames and into your crouching frames. However, if you are already in your crouching frames, you have more time to react and you don't actually have to do the command until the fireball is right at your head and you can react to it, and then you get the slide and the punish. So here's a good example of this. Have Liu Kang do a fireball and try to guard. Now I'm going to be out here. I didn't actually do the punish until the fireball went over my head. This means even if he's whiffing a jab or stand jabbing, crouch jabbing, whiffing all these crazy moves trying to bait me to slide, there's no way he can bait me. It is impossible for the Liu Kang player to bait me if I'm doing the slide from crouch. Doing it from crouch just gives me too much time to react to the projectile and then slide it. Even if he does a triple fireball, it doesn't matter. I'm still able to go under it just the same. I'm reacting the same way I do to the first one, and the slide goes under fireballs 2 or 3 because they're all still high. Now, people may say, what about the low fireball though? The low fireball is a low into a high fireball. Now, one of the weapons Sub-Zero has here is because that's a high, he's able to go under it. So he's still able to punish the low fireball by itself from this range. He's able to punish, obviously he has to be closer to punish the low fireball. He can punish the low amplify from pretty far distance because he's going under the high. but he can pretty much punish just about everything Liu Kang does here without ever being baited to do so. But the best example of this is against a character like Sonya, who has a really, really fast projectile. Liu's fireballs are not Sonya's energy rings. Sonya's energy rings are 12 frames. They have really, really good recovery. They're fast, they're hard to react to, and they have great recovery. Not only that, when it comes to baiting, a character like Sonya also has a bunch of moves that actually have rings on them, like her down 1 and her down 4. So if you're looking for, something that looks like the ring and not reacting to the ring itself, she's going to bait you. She's going to down 1, she's going to down 4, slide comes, she blocks, you're dead. So let me again give you an example. I'm going to do this really, really close to her. So pretty much at this range, just to show you the reaction time, to be able to not react to movement, but physically see that a projectile's on the screen. If I do it from standing, it's really, really hard. So I'm going to do her rings, right? Now, if I wait until I actually see it's a ring and not this, there's no way this close I can tell if it's this, that, or this in the time that ring is going to reach my face. I'm a human. It starts in 12 frames. That's really, really fast. So really, if I wait for this to reach my face before I see it's 100% a firewall, I can't go under it. But if I crouch it, I can wait till it's passing over my head, and then I see it's clearly the firewall. Notice here, I can't do it. Look how fast I have to actually slide to go under it. I have to slide super fast. Here, I don't have to do anything until it goes over my head. And this applies even from ranges. You can actually do this on Sonya from about half screen. And from about half screen, you can actually hit her before the amplify comes out. Once you get past half screen, the amplify becomes a threat, and then you get crushing blow. So you have to really be careful when you do it. But crouching and then sliding gives you more reaction time. Now, how do you go about doing this? This also works against like Scorpion players. Scorpion players love to throw out random spears, get you walking in, and when you walk, they want to teleport, etc. But let me just go over the actual command here of how this is done, and then we can wrap this up. I don't want to go on too long on this. So the command of the slide is back forward 3. To do this from crouch, you simply while holding down, you slide your controller from down back to down forward, and then slide. And that's pretty much it. So from crouching, by doing down back down forward, you never get standing frames. Doing it to forward and 3 from crouching, down back forward 3, sometimes you can get standing frames in. Oops, I'm dumb. Right? So there we go. I don't even like doing it down back to forward. I do down back down forward. It's just easier for me because sometimes I do crouching slide, and I can see it right there. I stood up, and that's something that can really happen. Again, I stood up there. No, normally I don't even do that, so the command is a little awkward to me to do it to forward, and I don't recommend doing down back forward because you can get standing frames in there, and you don't want any standing frames. So in order to avoid any standing frames whatsoever, instead of doing down back forward, right? Because again, there are standing frames sometimes that can come out. And right there was a standing frame that came out there. You want to make sure from crouch, down back, down forward, and 3. Don't ever hit forward because I'm telling you, it's awkward, first of all, for me. As you see, I'm getting standing 3 half the time. When I'm doing it from this, I never get standing 3. I'm always getting the crouching slide. And see right there, again, I went to do forward and I got standing frames. You want no standing frames. When you see your character pop up like this slightly, that means you're going to get hit. So again, down, back, down, forward. And I did down, back, forward, and again, it came out. So again, avoid standing frames altogether by just simply doing it like this, and you'll never miss it. Some people tend to do it down, back, forward. That's really, really, really sketchy. For me, like I said, it's awkward. You saw half of the time I tried it, I was getting standing 3. half of the time I was doing it, I got at least a couple of standing frames. You always want to do down, back, down, forward from crouch to kind of make sure you never leave that crouching animation, right? And you want to make sure you hit 3 as you hit down, forward. Sometimes people do down, back, down, forward, a slight neutral, then hit 3. And in that slight neutral frame, their character barely stands up. So always make sure you hit the button as you go to down, forward in the down, back, down, forward command, so you never, ever leave your crouching animation. And this is pretty much makes you basically anti-zonable. And Dead of Winter obviously has the enhanced ice ball, which works great. But outside of Dead of Winter, without the slide, Sub-Zero really has no way to combat zoning. And obviously with slide, while you don't have the combo potential of the amplified ice ball, you have the ability to pretty much on reaction avoid every projectile, get a knockdown, and then go into your offense. So hope this video helps. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.